Good morning, guys. Today is the day we are arriving in Sardinia, and we haven't got there yet. The ship is still sailing. Whatever the word is. I don't. Do you still use the word sailing even though it's not a sailboat? Anyway, we are still moving along in the direction of Sardinia. They suggest approximately going ashore at 8:15. My tour, I'm supposed to meet them before 8:15, I believe. So anyway, I'm doing one excursion today, and it's something about an archaeological dig. It was very, very limited choices with this particular excursion. A lot of them had to do with either wine tasting or eating, and I try my best to avoid those particular tours because I just hate wasting. For one thing, I don't drink, so why would I go do the wine one? And second, it's usually the food is not good. It's very, for lack of a better word, cheap. Just not good whatsoever. And I've talked to other people, they've agreed with me, so I just avoid the ones that include lunches. Not my cup of tea. So they didn't leave too many choices left that sounded interesting. So this one was some sort of archaeological dig. I'll find out more about it when I go. And then tomorrow is a sea day, and then Sunday's home. So I will tell you, yesterday I did get out of my cabin. I thought about not doing it the day before, but I did get out, and I ended up walking on the walking track. That was lovely. I don't know how many miles I did. I'm guessing 3 or 4 just on the walking track, because it's 7 laps around it is 1 mile, but I tend to lose count, so I would say it was 3 to 4 miles yesterday. I did that. I ate at the Pig and Anchor for lunch, and it's very tasty. I skipped breakfast so I would have extra room for that lunch, and it was very, very tasty. Then I did go to the comedian show, and this was probably the better comic that they've had that I have been to. I have missed 1 or 2 of them at the 5:30 time period. Or maybe more than 1 or 2. Some of them they repeat, so you don't need to go back because it's the same show if it's like the next night or the next one, whenever. This one did impressions, and he was very, very good at that. So that was the best one that we've had so far, in my opinion. And then they debuted, the singers and dancers debuted a new show last night. I think it was called Vintage Pop. It was a little strange in that they were singing more modern songs, but they were dressed up in like 1920s flapper type outfits and the zoot suits. But they were singing like some stuff from Adele, some other stuff. And I'm like, why are you calling this Vintage Pop? I was expecting music from that time period, and you didn't get a whole lot of that, just the way they were dressed. Again, the 2 lead female singers were absolutely amazing. They have amazing voices, really, really good. The rest of it was just mediocre, just being my opinion, being honest with how I feel about it. The dancers sometimes they weren't even remotely in sync with each other when they were supposed to be. Other times they weren't supposed to be. But sometimes when they were, it was like, whoa, somebody's really lagging behind. Now, let me tell you, I could not do better at all. I would be ridiculous looking up there doing any of that stuff. So, not saying that I could do better whatsoever. It's just that it's not, the entertainment is not not what you would get on Broadway or something like that. So anyway, I'm about to go get some breakfast, and then whenever we get to leave, I'll be filming some more, so I'll talk to you in a little bit. I feel like we're about to be invaded by a bunch of birds. Look at them. Some people down there were throwing bread or something, and the birds came over, and then one bird got confused because he landed down on the deck down there, and then all he could see was his glass, and he couldn't get out. He finally made it though. They need to stop throwing bread to him.
Because of this geographical position at the center of Western Mediterranean, Sardinia was an important stronghold on the routes between the Middle East and the mining areas of the Far West. At first it was a Sardinian civilization. Civilization itself to keep up relationship with the other Mediterranean areas. But between 2000 and 1000 before Christ, Phoenicians achieved great prestige in controlling every trade exchange. Phoenicians came from the Middle East, from that area which corresponds to Lebanon. They stayed between the sea and the mountains, and they were obliged by the Egyptians to live in their native land on boats made of wood of cedars grown on the mountains. And they used to sail during the day and to stop for the night. So Sardinia was the best place to stop when they went to Spain to collect minerals. And if they had to go to southern France or northern Italy, they soon realized that there was the possibility of cutting short their voyage passing through the shores of Corsica and Sardinia. And following the tendency of winds, scholars think that they used to sail along the western coasts when they went from north to south, and along the eastern coasts when they went to the opposite direction. Phoenicians occupied the southwestern part of Sardinia. As I said before, they didn't exercise a military control, but basically a commercial one. And the places chosen by the Phoenicians were promontories, because they could build at least 2 ports to make sure the mooring of their boats according to the wind. That was really important. And Nora was an important port in the Mediterranean, a trading station. Then, during the 6th century, Carthaginians coming from North Africa, they arrived at Sardinia, and the Phoenician ports developed into urban areas. So Nora became a real town, a Carthaginian town. Carthaginians are also called Punics, so we can say that Nora was a Punic town. Carthage had been a Phoenician colony, but the Carthaginians were different. They were a population of warriors. Carthaginian control spread inland. That's why we say that the local civilization, so the Nuragic civilization, ended with the arrival of the Carthaginians. So, but also during the Carthaginian domination, Nora was an important trading center in the Mediterranean, in Western Mediterranean. Then during the first Punic War, the first war between Rome and Carthage, mercenary soldiers serving Carthaginians here in Sardinia, they rose against the masters. So Carthaginians were compelled to give the island to the Romans. It didn't mean the sudden disappearance of the Carthaginian language, legislation and religion, because we know that Sardinians were affected by Roman culture little by little. So Romans destroyed the Carthaginian town, and this is shown by a thick layer of ashes found between the Carthaginian ruins and the Roman ones, which means that the town was set on fire. And then they built a new one, a new town, on the foundations of the Carthaginian one. That's the sewage system. It is a kind of like during the 60s they decided to place the electrical system. As you can see, the plastic red pipe is not a Roman one. So hot air circulated between the two floors and through the hollow bricks at the walls, heating the room at the temperature of more than 40 degrees. And there was also the dancing. It is true. Have you been to Turkey? No. Toilets. Toilets. Here there was a big marble slab with the different holes. Oh, wow. And over there was the draining pipe. Okay? So we can say that ancient Romans used to go to the toilets all together. Used to socialize in toilets too.
my excursion for a few hours now. We got back around 1-ish, 12:30, 1-ish, somewhere around in there. I don't remember the exact time we got back. And then they had some free shuttles that you can get on from the port to take you basically on the other side of the port, and you cross the street and there's like shopping area over there. I did go look around because I wanted to go ahead and see it. I didn't buy a single thing. There wasn't anything that I saw that I wanted. I was looking for some cheaper sodas, I'll be honest with you. I didn't find any over there, but they did have some in the port that they always make you walk through a gift shop to get back on board ship. I'm trying to remember when I've ever done one that I haven't had to walk through a gift shop, but there's been a few in the Caribbean, but not, I mean, over here you got to walk through a gift shop. And a lot of it is duty free, so people will stock up on booze and cigarettes in the duty free section. It's like not yesterday, the day before when we were leaving Malta, I've never seen so many people buying cigarettes at one time in my life before, because they were duty free, and one carton, I don't know how much they cost normally, but one carton was like 20 euro. So I don't know if that's a good price or not, but anyway, people were stocking up like it was, they were on sale or something. Anyway, so I had a really lovely day. Sardinia is beautiful. When we left port, we went to the Nora, N-O-R-A, archaeological site. Originally, if I'm remembering correctly, or recalling correctly, the guide said at the original site was established by the Phoenicians. Apparently the Phoenicians just came over here first, and I think that is what a lot of places they did in Europe. They ended up first. Then after the Phoenicians, the Romans came, and this is where I'm pretty sure what the guide said. She said the Romans burned everything that the Phoenicians had built and then rebuilt on top of it. So there's layers and layers and layers, where archaeologists, she said, still come today during like the late spring, summertime. They'll come and do their archaeological digging and see what else they can discover. Part of the area, they still had frescoes that they found, and I got some photographs of those. I think I got videos too. And where I got really tickled, I guess you could say, she's like, okay, we're gonna go look at the sewer system now. And I'm thinking, imagine, okay, they're just making an announcement about what's going on tonight. Sorry about that. Y'all couldn't hear him. Probably not, but I could. I said, can you imagine, let's say 1,000 years from now, people coming and looking at our septic tanks and being like, oh, wow. It's just like, it's funny. And then she showed us the toilets, and I'm like, again, can you imagine somebody coming 1,000 years from now and looking at your toilet? It's just the things tourists will look at that's old. It's like, people were all the same. We've all had the same functions since the beginning of time, so I just think it was funny that that's what we were looking at. We are getting ready to pull away from port and start heading back towards Barcelona. The area that we were also in at the archaeological dig or site, oh, they had so many gorgeous flowers, lots and lots and lots of poppies, and I think dandelions that were in full bloom. Just gorgeous. And it was on the sea, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but this is where we were in port. Which one is it? This one. There we go. Right there is where we ported today. It sounded like sometimes they were saying Calgary, like Calgary, Canada, but I think it's Cagliari? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that is where we ported. Let's see what else I found out. Sardinia is the second largest island in the Mediterranean. It is an Italian-owned, I guess you could say, island. There are twice as many sheep as there are people, yet I did not see a single sheep. Did see a lot of flamingos. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of footage or photos of them because they were I saw them from like the bus, and when we were driving out there, they were on the opposite side of the bus that I was on. Oh, they keep making announcements. They're asking for somebody to contact guest services. I'm assuming the person's not back aboard yet. Let me see. Yeah, it's exactly 5:30. All guests had to be aboard at 5:30. I think we're leaving at 6, hopefully. What else? I've got to tell you this, honestly, while Sardinia is a very beautiful island, at least the part that I saw, I haven't seen the whole thing because it is a fairly significant sized island. Oh, I remember I was talking about the flamingos. So let me back up to the flamingos and I'll go back forward again. I didn't get a lot of good photos of them because they were too far away, so I'll see when I can get back home and put the SD card in the computer to see what I got. But lots of flamingos. She had a nest here, and they were almost, from what I could see, just like a pale baby pink instead of the bright, almost fuchsia color that a lot of flamingos can be. And anyway, fast forward back again. Where was I? Oh, I don't know that I would ever want to come back to Sardinia. While it is absolutely beautiful, I'm now happy that I can say I have been here. I just don't think I would come back. There's nothing here that I would want to necessarily see again. No offense to anybody here whatsoever. There just didn't seem to be a lot to do, especially with the excursions that were offered to us through Carnival. And I do remember reading on Carnival's reviews that some people thought Carnival would end up stop actually coming into port here. I don't know if that's true or not. They just didn't offer a whole lot. And I've got to tell you, I didn't know much about this island before we stopped here. I've heard of it for years and years and years, didn't know a lot about it. I recently listened to a book, I think on Audible, called The Monster of Florence. And probably not the thing I should have listened to before coming to this area of the world. But anyway, there were some people in that book, and it was based on a true story, that were from this island. And they were some scary people. So that was my one thought I had in mind. Scary people came from this island. But most of the people that I've encountered today that were from here were absolutely gracious and kind people. So I had that one little thing in my mind about people from that book, but it was, a long time ago. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just didn't see a lot that I would want to come back and see. And you guys know I love to shop as well. There was nothing here, even from what I looked and saw, that I would want to come like, oh, that's a shopping mecca. It's not. There were lots of businesses, but nothing that I saw that I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I haven't been here before. Nothing on the shopping level that made me. Guys, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and end this video here. My SD card just cut me off because it was completely full, so I went and deleted some footage that I probably was not gonna upload anyway. So I'm gonna end up having just to end my European vacation vlog series right here. There's no more space. Tomorrow is a sea day, and then the day after that I just go home, so I wasn't planning on vlogging those 2 days anyway. But I've enjoyed my time in Europe. I am ready to go home. I will be honest with you. I am so thrilled I was able to take this trip. It has been amazing. I've had the best time. It was a little bit too long for me, a few days too long. I think a 10 or 11 day vacation total would have been perfect. And this one is just, I'm ready to go home. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed these vlogs. I've enjoyed vlogging for you guys. Look forward to a haul. I am doing I'm going to attempt to do a part 1. I've already filmed part 1, but part 1, part 2. About the ship and what I've thought about it. On my other camera, I've got a little bit of footage left on that one. And when I get home, I'm gonna film a haul for you guys, and I may even talk more about it later once I go back and watch all the footage of this to see if that if that triggers any thoughts in my mind that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions about this trip, I will do my very best to answer them. I highly recommend anybody to come that is interested in traveling. It is fabulous. I have felt safe almost the entire trip. I have not felt really uncomfortable most time. There was a time or two where I got a little stressed about a few things, but that was just me being stressed. But I've had a great time. So thank you so much for watching these vlogs. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I don't know where I'm going next year. I've got a couple thoughts in my head, but I may take another month or two before I actually just buckle down and figure out what I'm gonna do for next year. If anything, I may still be like recuperating from this trip. At least my wallet will be anyway. So I'm gonna go say bye for now. Thank you guys, and just check back in. More videos will be coming up as normal in the future. So bye bye everybody.